Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this tutorial we are going to learn how we can create a basic Gutenberg block plugin in WordPress. So here you can see this is a fresh new WordPress install, and here in the plugin we can see we have our first Gutenberg block plugin activated. So now if we go to any pages or post where we have the Gutenberg block editor, then we can see here we have a block which is not the default one. This one we have created. So now if we use it, then here we can see we have a custom section where we can put name and city. So here I am providing my name and my city. Let's see what it does. I'm updating it. Now let's view the page. So here we can see this is the section which have been created in the front end by using that block. So this is what we are going to create in this tutorial. I know this is the basic block, but we can start from the basic, then we can go to the advanced one. So this is the beginners friendly tutorial. If you are beginner in this Gutenberg block development, then this tutorial will definitely help you to understand all the basics of it, and then in future tutorials we can learn more advanced topics of it. So if you are interested in this kind of tutorial, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new tutorial on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with the tutorial. So here this is a fresh new WordPress install, and here within the plugin we don't have any extra plugin. We have only these two default plugins available. Now let's go to the code editor. Here I am using Visual Studio Code, and here I have already opened my project. In this project, first we need to create a plugin, and for that we need to go to this WP content directory, and within this directory we have this plugins directory, and within this plugins directory I am creating a new folder called our first Gutenberg block, and within this let's create a file called index.php, and here within this php tag we need to provide some information about the plugin within the comment. So here I'm providing some basic details about the plugin. So these are the basic information about the plugin, and after saving this file you will have this plugin available in this page. So now here we can see our plugin is available to activate. So now we can click on activate to activate it, but right now it will do nothing as we haven't done anything yet. We have just provided the plugin information here. Now we will create the plugin. For that, first I am going to create a class, and let's provide this class name our first Gutenberg block, and for this class let's create a constructor function. For this constructor function I will provide a action hook, for which I need to provide this add action function, and here the hook will be enq block editor assets. And then for the second argument we need to provide a function, and as we are within a class, so to provide a reference of a function within the class we need to provide the class name within this array like this. So within array first we need to provide $this, then comma, and then the function name. So I'm providing a function name as block assets. So this is the function which we need to create. Now after this constructor function let's create this function block assets, and here we need to provide wp enq script function. By this we can add some JavaScript files to our plugin. So within this function first we need to provide an id which will be unique for this file which we are going to add to our plugin. So here we are providing a generic name because here in this project we are just developing this plugin and we are not using any other third-party plugin within this project. But in a real world scenario you need to provide a unique string for this id so that it doesn't conflict with any other third-party plugin. Now after this we need to provide the file path which we want to include. For that first we need to provide plugin directory URL. By using this we are getting the path of this plugin directory automatically, which is handled by the WordPress, so we don't need to worry about that. Then we we can provide a relative path for that file. So here I am providing test.js file, which I am going to create in a moment. Now for the third parameter, we need to provide list of dependency which this files depends upon. So for this one, we need to provide those list of dependency within this array, and for this plugin it will depend upon WP blocks. As we are creating Gutenberg blocks, so we have this WP blocks dependency. Now we can save it and create a file called test.js. Now here I am providing an alert message to test whether our plugin is working perfectly or not. So this message will pop up in a alert box in post editor page. Now within this index.php, we need to call this class. For that, first we need to create a variable, and I'm naming this variable as our first Gutenberg block. And here let's create an instance for our class. That's how we have created a new instance for the class. Now after saving it, now go to pages and go to the sample page. As soon as we are visiting this edit page, we are seeing this alert message. So that means our plugin is working perfectly fine. Now we can get rid of this alert message. Now let's create the actual block. For that, first we need to provide wp.blocks.register block type. So we need to provide this to register a new block, and then we need to provide an ID for the block. So here we can provide a string, then a front slash, and then we can provide our block name. So here I am providing our first Gutenberg block, and then within this curly brace we can provide different information about the block. Now let's first discuss about this name. Before this front slash, I have provided a name. So here the concept is that first we need to provide the plugin name, which will be unique, and here we need to provide all characters in small letters. We cannot use camel case properties here like this, so we need to make sure about that. Then we can provide the block name. As in a plugin we can create multiple blocks, so that's why this is the naming convention we need to use. After that, we need to provide the information about the blocks. So first I'm going to provide the title, and for the title I'm going to use this our first Gutenberg block. Then we need to provide an icon for this block. So as you can see here, for every block there is a title for the block and an icon. So these are the information I'm providing here. So we have already provided the title. Now it's time for the icon, and for the icon I'm going to use dash icons, which is provided by WordPress. So I'm going to use this plugins icon. To use this icon, we can provide the name of the icon after this dash icon dash. So whatever is available after this dash icon dash, we can just copy that name and use it here. Then we need to provide category of this block, and category means here you can see this is a section called text, and within this section we have several blocks present. Then we have media section, we have design section. So these are the categories, and I'm going to provide text category here. And now we need to provide edit, and for this edit we need to provide an function, and within this edit function we need to return something, and that will be present within this edit page. So here within this return, let's provide wp.element.createElement. So this createElement function will create some element within this block editor section. So for this create element, first we need to provide the HTML element. So if we want to provide paragraph, then we can use P. If we want to use unordered list, we can use UL. We can provide LI. So like this we can provide the HTML element. So here I'm going to use H3. Then for the next parameter, we can provide the attribute of that HTML element like class name or inline style. Those we can provide here, but right now we will not provide that, so we can provide null. Then for the third element, we can provide the child content of that element, and here that will be the text. So here I am providing this message. Now after this edit, we have another function for save, and it will be used to display the data in the front end. So here we need to return something as we have done here. So we can copy it from here and paste it here. And for this one, we can use h1 tag to make it distinct and a different message. To use this wp.element.create element, we need to provide another dependency here, which is wp-element. Now save it. Let's see here. First reload this page. After reloading, here we can see within this text we have this block. Now let's click on here to add it. So here we can see hello, this is from admin editor screen, the text message which we have provided here, right? So it's working well for this edit function. Now save it. Now let's view the page. So here at the front end, we can see within h1 tag, hello, this is front end. So all these things are working perfectly fine. So congratulations, we have already created our first Gutenberg block pretty easily. But now things are getting little complex. If we go to the here, we have provided a text in the edit screen, and then we have provided another text for the front end. But if we want to provide some complex design here, like our div, within this div we have some heading text, then some paragraph text, then some other sections, then it will become much more complex with this create element function. So as you can see, it can be really difficult. If we need to create that, then it will be the parent element, that div. Then here for this third element within this bracket, we need to provide other elements like this, and here we can provide those elements. So you can see that it is already becoming so difficult to manage, right? So this is how we can create nested HTML elements here. Let's see. We can see that the h3 and the paragraph. Like this, if we want to create much more complex design, then it will be really difficult for a human being to do it with this create element function, right? So to get rid of this complexity, WordPress have provided a solution called WordPress scripts. So let me show it to you. So this is WordPress scripts. So WordPress have already created this package to get rid of this complexity, and instead of using this create element function, we can use JSX, which is HTML equivalent in JavaScript. So here, instead of providing this create element functions, we can provide HTML within this return function. But those HTML is not HTML actually, because within JavaScript file we cannot write HTML. So those are called JSX. But it is pretty similar to HTML, so it will be easier for anybody to create any complex design there. So to use these WordPress scripts, we need to install Node.js in our machine. So you need to go to this nodejs.org and you need to install this LTS version. So whatever version is currently available for you, you can download this version. It is recommended for most users and it will work perfectly fine for you. At the time when you are watching, it can show any different version number. Don't bother about it, just download this LTS version, and after downloading it, you can just install it in your machine. And with this Node.js, you will have something called npm, and npm will manage the packages for your project. So after installing Node.js, we can open terminal in our project. So here I am right clicking on this plugin. I will click on this open in integrated terminal. So by doing this, the terminal is opened for this plugin directory. So now first we need to initiate npm in our plugin directory. So here we can provide npm init-y. So by this our project will be under npm. So here this package.json file has been created. Now we need to provide this command to install this package. So I have copied it and pasted it. So it is npm I for install, then the package name. Now hit enter. It will take several minutes to install the package and node modules in your project. Okay, so it has been installed. After it gets finished, you can see here in the dependencies we have this WordPress scripts dependency mentioned here, and we have this node modules directory within our plugins directory. Now after this, we need to add some scripts here in this package.json. First we need to provide build, and for the build script we want to run wp scripts build, and similarly to build we will create another script called start. For start we want to call wp scripts start. So these are the things we need to configure in our project to start using JSX in our project. Now instead of this test.js, we will create a new folder called src. So this folder name should be src like this, and within this src directory we need to create a file called index.js. Now we can copy all these things from test.js to index.js, and now we can get rid of this test.js file. And here instead of this wp element we can use jsx. We can create that same thing by providing this h3 tag and the message. Now similarly for the save function, here we can provide this message within the h1 like this. Now after saving it, we need to build the project, so we can use this build command or the start command. This build command will build the project once, but this start command will watch for any changes in our project files. So while developing the plugin, it will be useful to use this start command. When we are completed with the plugin development, then we can use this build command. So here I am using the start command, and we can use that by providing npm run start. So this command will run this wp script start. If we want to build it after finishing the development of our plugin, then we can use npm run build, but for now I will run the start script. Now hit enter. Now we can see this build directory has been created, and within this build directory we can see index.js, and it is pretty complex, which is not understandable by normal human beings. But here we can go to the bottom of this file, and here we can see the create element functions. So it is converting this index.js into this build index.js, which is understandable by the WordPress, but for the development we can get to use this JSX. Now to get the effect of it, we need to update the path of the file. So here it will be build/index.js. So we need to refer to this file which has been generated after providing this npm run start command. Now after saving it, let's check it here. After reloading it, here we can see that plugin is available, right? And if we go to the front end of it, then we can see it's showing the message perfectly fine, right? So it's working well with JSX. Now let's create the actual block which we want to create, in which we have two input fields in the edit page. So here for the return, within this bracket we can provide a div, and within this div we can provide input text. So here I'm providing input type text. For the placeholder of it, I will provide name. And now let's close this. So for this JSX we need to provide closing tag for any HTML element. So here we are closing it by providing this front slash, and for this div we have this closing tag. So we need to provide that. Without this closing tag it will be an error. So here you can see it is showing an error. So we need to provide this closing tag. For another input field, it will be city name, and for providing dynamic contents here we need to provide another section called attributes. So here we can provide that, and within this curly braces we need to provide the list of attributes. First we will provide the name. So I have named this as full name, and the type of it will be string type, and for this city it will be type of string as well. For the attribute name it will be city name. And now we can use these attributes to update the values of this input field. So here we have a function called onChange. So whenever we will type anything, it will change the value of this attribute. And within this onChange, we can call a function. So let's create a function here. Within this edit function, I am creating another function called update full name. And here we can update this attribute. To get access this attribute, we have something called props, which is passed to this edit function. By using these props, we can set attribute with the value provided in this input field. So here we can provide the value, and that value can be accessed by event.target.value, and that event will be passed to this function when we provide this function here in this onChange. So by this we will get the value whenever we will type something in this input field, and that will be assigned to this full name attribute by using this set attributes. Now copy this function for city name. So here instead of this full name, it will be city name. For onChange of it, we will provide this update city name, and we are not providing parenthesis after this because we don't want to call it as soon as these elements rendered. React will handle the calling of this function, so we are just providing the reference of the function. And then for this save function, here also we will get the props as we have get it in edit function, and now we can use it here. So instead of this h1 tag, I will provide a paragraph tag, and here for this paragraph tag I will provide this text: hi, my name is, then the name. So we can get the name by providing this props dot attributes dot full name, so it will provide this attribute value. And then let's continue with our message, and I am from the city name. So here it will be similar to full name, so it will be props dot attributes dot city name, right? Now after saving it, let's go to the edit of it. So here it is showing some error. Let's remove the block and again add it. So after adding it, we can see these two input fields are present. So I'm providing my name here, then the city name. Let's update it. Now let's view it. So here we can see it's working perfectly well, right? Now when we go back to edit page, that time we cannot see those data which we have provided here. That is because we haven't provided any value for these text fields. We have those value in the database, but it is not displaying here. So to display it here, we need to provide the value, and for the value of it, we need to provide props.attributes.fullname. Similarly, copy this one and paste it here, and this time it will be city name, right? Now save it. Now after saving it, let's reload it once. So here we can see we have this data available. Now if we change it to any other value, then it will be updated in the front end as well. Right, this is how we can work with dynamic data in Gutenberg. And then let's provide some styling here. So it is the JSX. Let's see what is the difference here. So here you have already seen that this onChange function and this closing tag, we need to provide those things. For these HTML elements, we can provide class attribute, style attribute, but in JSX, to use the class, we cannot provide class name like this. To provide the class name, we need to provide class name, then the class name. We cannot use the class because class is a reserved keyword for JavaScript. So that's why we need to use class name. And here I'm going to provide some styling for this div, and in JSX we need to provide styles in this manner. Within double curly braces we can provide styling, and these stylings will be like this: background color with camel case. For the CSS it will be like this, but here it's giving an error. In JSX we need to use this camel case properties, and here I'm going to provide this color, and then let's provide a padding. I will provide 20 pixel padding. Now save it. After saving it, let's reload it once. So here we can see that our style has been applied to it. Similarly, I will provide some style for this paragraph tag as well. Here I will provide a background color blue, 20 pixel padding, and I will provide text color white. Now save it. Let's reload it once. Now it's showing some error, so let's get rid of this block and insert a new one. Now let's provide the name and the city name, update it, click on view page, and here we are seeing the data in the front end. So that's how we can create a basic Gutenberg block, use some dynamic content within this block, and provide some styling to it. So this is the tutorial, guys. I hope you have learned something new from this tutorial. If you do so, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and let me know by commenting down below. If you have any kind of suggestion for me, then also let me know. And don't forget to share this tutorial with your friends and colleagues. And I will see you guys in my next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye.